Hope you guys and girls are having a sick afternoon. Today we're going to dive into this topic. All right. 3 tips to flatten your stomach, 3 tips to reduce that bubble gut that you have if you're mildly pregnant, if you're a dude. You know what I'm talking about. Um, it's very simple. Things I've talked about before that not a lot of you listen to, either because you didn't get the chance to tune in or because you just didn't give a fuck. But now I'm bringing it to your attention. So bring out your pad and your pen, or just listen attentively and actually, you know, use these steps. Right, take action on this if this is something that you're struggling with. All right. So, if you're new to the podcast, what we do normally here is on the live stream, I'll talk to you guys a little bit, ask how your day is going, we'll chat, and you can drop some comments, you can drop some questions, and then towards the end of the podcast, I'm going to answer some comments and questions as usual. All right. So, without wasting any time, actually, I'm going to waste like 5 seconds. I got to set up the podcast here. But let me know how your day is going in the meantime. When we do start rolling, I won't be answering any questions or comments. And when we're done, of course, I'm going to like scan through and answer what I can. And if, of course, your question is a little bit too private, feel free to DM me. Don't have to air your dirty laundry out on the internet. Yo, what's up, Tyson? My boy, what's good? Frederick, what's up, people on TikTok? What's good? What's happening? Facebook, YouTube, y'all tuning in. Dope. All right. So let's dive into this podcast without wasting any time in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. Welcome to another episode of the Natural Nomad podcast. This is the number one podcast for anyone on this planet, country, or nation who wants to make an amazing mental and physical natural transformation. Disclaimer, I'm going to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. Not because I want to be mean, but because I fucking respect you. So if you tune in and decide to give me the time out of your life that you know you'll never get back, the very least I can do for you is keep it a stack. All right. Now that that's out the way, let's chat with IFBB Pro Matt Butale. What's good, Nomads? Let's get raw. What's happening? Hope you guys and girls are enjoying your Thursday today. Super sunny over here. I'm staying. Mad positive vibes. We're crushing it over here. Tyson's like, morning, bro. Just killed some legs. Yeah, I saw it, man. Saw it in your story. He's fucking killing it. Soldier, natural nomad in the house. Love it. All right. So in today's podcast, as you can already tell by the title, we're going to be talking about a very prominent issue. And I'm not calling it an issue to be disrespectful, but it's something that you're likely uncomfortable with, and probably it's why you tuned in. The gut, the belly, all right, that stomach. You want to flatten it. You've been doing everything, you've been trying everything, but you can't get it to like slim down. All right, so today I'm going to be dropping 3 actionable tips, 3 things that you can actually do once you listen to this that will actually help you reduce your belly fat or reduce the amount of bloating that you experience just in your physique. Like if you look down and you see that your stomach sometimes hangs over your belt buckle or your pants line, this is for you. All right, I want you to just take this value, run with it for free, and just use it. All right, so that's what this is for. I want you guys and girls to just take benefit. D, I appreciate the follow there on TikTok. Much love, bro. All right. Without wasting any time, let's dive into the first tip. Okay. Tip number 1 when it comes to 3 tips to flatten your stomach, 3 proven tips to flatten your stomach coming from a pro. All right. If you aren't already doing this, and you should already know what I'm about to talk about. If you aren't already doing this, then you should get started. The reason why you have a bloat or a gut or belly fat is because you're not doing this number one thing that you need to be doing in order to, of course, change your physique in any way, shape, or form. And that thing is, guys and girls, burning calories. Okay, exercising, just doing simple workouts and doing cardio. All right. If you aren't already doing that, I have 2 other tips. We're going to talk about that later on. If you aren't already doing that, then you're pretty much, of course, going to be stuck in the position that you're in. Like that's ABC 1, 2, 3, the most simple shit that you need to be doing to flatten your stomach. Burn calories, right? That's going to drop some body fat. That's going to, get your body to release the water weight, so on and so forth. Okay. So, number 1, and I'm not going to spend much time on this because it's so simple. And most of you guys and girls already know this. Like, we're not idiots, right? You got to be burning calories. You got to be active. You got to be training, weight training, while doing some cardio, right? On a consistent basis. All right. So, I'm not going to waste too much time on that because we already know that. It's like common sense, right? So, let's dive into the second thing here. This one is a little bit confusing for a lot of people because they didn't actually think, or they don't actually think, that this plays such a big role. And it does. All right. Number two, when it comes to the three tips proven to flatten your stomach, is hydration. Okay. Proper hydration, adequate like water intake. And why is this important? Well, I'm going to tell you why and when it's important too. The reason why it's important is because the more water you have in your body, the more optimally it's going to perform. Okay. The better your bowels move, and the better your bowels move, the more you can flush out of your intestines, the better you can absorb your food, so on and so forth. Okay. So if you're not drinking at least 3 to 5 liters a day, depending on your size, depending on your physical activity levels, so on and so forth, if you aren't consistently drinking between 3 to 5 liters of water a day, chances are you're either A, constipated, which is going to be holding up a lot of food, okay, in your intestines, because you need water to digest food, right? And that can contribute to the bloat. That can contribute to that protruding, like that look that you get in your stomach. All right. And on top of that, on the flip side, which is sort of kind of a temporary negative when it comes to hydration, is you want to make sure that when you are hydrating yourself, when you are drinking your water, you're doing it as early as possible. Like drink your like my first liter is usually done an hour after I wake up, right? And I always keep a liter by the bed so I don't have to waste time going back and forth getting my water. So the reason why I do that, and the reason why you should do that in the morning, the reason why you should drink, as much water as possible in the morning, is because you start off your day, you start off your circadian rhythm with flushing out whatever was in your system. Okay, your intestines, big and small intestines, will flush out with the water if you drink warm water in the morning. Okay, like it's just like almost like a secret. It's like all the grandmas and mothers know about it. Drink warm water in the morning. I prefer drinking 1 liter of water, whether it's warm or cold, right in the morning, simply because it gives my body a head start to get my bowels moving and to start my digestion, so that my stomach, clears out and I get as flat as possible on my stomach, right? So the sort of positive negative thing I wanted to talk about was drinking and hydrating too close to meals. Okay, so this is something that it seems like common sense, but it kind of goes over our head. It's not just with water, it's like with juice too. Like if you're one of those people that eat meals and like to have like juice or drink next to you while you eat, that is another contributing factor as to why you always, or at least are more likely than not, to experience bloating in the day. Simply because, I mean, put it this way, you're going to eat, okay, we know bread, for example. Bread expands. Well, if you soak bread in water, it gets heavier and it expands, right? Like a sponge. So you eat a bunch of bread and then you decide to drink water, juice, whatever it is, any fluid. Once you do that, you have the bread in your stomach, then you eat, or then you drink the fluid, it's going to expand and then create that bloating effect, right? It's going to create that bloating effect. And the way to beat this, the way to go around this, the way to eat and hydrate yourself without actually bloating yourself is to drink your fluids before you consume the solids. All right. So liquids before solids, at least 30 minutes. I prefer 45 minutes to an hour, and I'll drink maybe 2 liters straight back to back if I know I'm going to eat a meal within an hour, so that I know that I'm getting like I'm getting hydrated, I'm getting the water down. Okay. And I don't have to compromise, feeling bloated because I decide to, take in fluids while I eat the solids. The liquids and the solids at the same time are definitely going to cause a bloat, even if it's not bread, whatever food it is, right? Let the water pass through first because it'll pass through way faster, and then eat your food. All right. So that's another tip I wanted to tell you there for hydration. And that's tip number two out of the three tips when it comes to three proven tips to flatten your gut, flatten your stomach. All right. So last but not least, this one is for the people, the outliers that are doing tips one and two. You're training your ass off, you're training as hard as you can. All right. You're doing your cardio, you're doing your workouts, with your as consistently as possible. You're hydrating yourself, okay, and you're following all the rules, you're not eating and drinking at the same time, and still you notice that even when the weight is coming down, you notice you have a bloat, you notice that the stomach is still protruding and you're looking mildly pregnant, for the lack of a better term. All right, so the last thing, the third tip when it comes to three proven methods to flatten your gut, to flatten your stomach, is to make sure that you have no gluten sensitivity issues. And you can't just guess that you are or aren't gluten sensitive. You have to check with a doctor. All right. But before you check with a doctor, I'd also recommend that you keep an eye on your micronutrients. All right. So, micronutrients, what are we talking about when I say micronutrients? You're probably familiar with macronutrients, protein, carbs, and fats. But what am I talking about when I say micronutrients? So, micronutrients, guys and girls, are vitamins, minerals, things of that sort. Make sure that you're getting an adequate amount of vitamins on a consistent basis. That's going to only help your body, optimize itself when it comes to digestion, when it comes to your bowel movements, when it comes to your nutritional absorption, when it comes to your recovery, when it comes to the way you feel. Like, micronutrients are severely underrated. Okay. And most people that are, health conscious, or most people that want to change their bodies, most people that want to flatten their stomach aren't aware of the fact that you actually need to have an adequate balance of micronutrients in order to get a successful result with anything that you do in training or changing your body. Okay, so what do I mean by micronutrients? Let's dive into this one specifically, sodium. Okay, sodium and potassium are electrolytes. They're going to help you with your recovery. They're going to help you with um, actually using the water that you put into your body. Like, so when you drink water, you're not automatically hydrated. As weird as that sounds, you can be drinking water and still be dehydrated because you don't have an adequate amount of sodium and potassium. Sodium and potassium are essentially going to help you absorb water, and it's good for your neural activity. It's good for your muscle function, and so many other things. Right? The combination of sodium and potassium is literally what makes your heart beat. Right? So, guys and girls, I want you to understand that micronutrients are really fucking important. And when it comes to flattening your gut specifically, what I would recommend is taking probiotics. Okay, so the step before going to the doctor and checking for your gluten sensitivity levels to see if you're, gluten sensitive or not, I'd recommend taking probiotics. Probiotics, again, are going to improve your gut health. And if you're using the steps 1 and 2 that we talked about earlier, this will be the cherry on the sundae that should fix your issue. But if you're doing the trifecta, these three things, which are physical activity, cardio and working out, hydrating yourself, and not eating solids while drinking fluids at the same time, and your micronutrients are on point, you're taking probiotics, so on and so forth, and that's still not working for you, the last step I'll tell you is to go to the doctor, check for your gluten sensitivity, that you are sensitive to gluten, or maybe it's other foods. Maybe you could have a small adverse or allergic reaction to certain foods that you have to replace. You can eliminate them from your nutrition protocol, or you can abide by what we call the FODMAP nutrition protocol, for people that are gluten sensitive, so that you can actually reduce inflammation, bloating, and water retention, especially in the gut area, in the stomach area, the abdominal area. All right, and get closer to succeeding when it comes to transforming your body and getting closer to where you actually want to be, and how you actually want to look, and how you actually want to feel. Does that make sense, guys and girls? Does that make sense? All right. So I'm going to recap it one last time before we dive out here. The three tips that are proven, three proven methods to flatten your gut. Okay. Number one, if you aren't already doing this, this is the common sense. This is like the baseline. You need to be already doing this. Number one is burn calories. All right. Burn calories. So reduce the amount of fat that's on your body. Simple weight training or cardio. And I'll even say thermogenics, which is simply cardio with extra layers, layers of clothing, so on and so forth. Like, that's what I typically do. All right. So number two would be hydration, making sure that as soon as you wake up, you are hydrated. Okay. Get at least 3 to 5 liters, depending on how big or small you are, every single day of water. Drink it. And also, don't drink and eat at the same time. Fluids and solids, separate them by like 30 minutes to an hour, depending on how much time you have to spare in between. If you eat and drink at the same time, you're definitely going to get bloated. Okay. So the third one is, if you're doing tips 1 and 2 already, you're hydrated, you're burning calories, you're losing weight, you're lifting weight even, at the same time, and you're in a calorie deficit, I'd recommend taking probiotics, going to get your blood work, seeing what nutrients that you're deficient in, so you can get your body to, perform optimally. digest properly, recover properly, absorb nutrients properly. And if you're doing that and nothing's, it's like the probiotics aren't helping you and the first two tips aren't helping you, then it's time to do the last ditch effort, which is going to your doctor, getting your gluten sensitivity checked out, and then eliminating foods from your nutrition protocol that are causing inflammation or bloating. Make sense? That makes sense. Or if you got value from this, just nod your head silently or share this video out to somebody else, that has a problem like this. All right. So thank you so much for your time and attention today. This is the number one podcast for anyone on this planet, country, or nation who wants to make an amazing mental, physical transformation. All right. So don't forget to implement at least one thing. Okay. Don't forget to implement at least one thing from this podcast. And remember, information without implementation is just fucking noise. All right. This is actionable. These are actionable tips. These are things you can actually do today. Okay. Things you can actually do today to, implement into your life. All right. So just don't sit here and waste your time listening to this. All right. So if you laughed, cried, got any value, motivation, or inspiration from this podcast, share it out to one friend who you know will enjoy it too. Shameless plug. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. Matt Butale, MATT space BUTALE, to see how I live my life outside of social media. And also, if you want to lose 25 pounds and become a part of the Natural Nomad Academy, feel free to DM me and I'll see if you'd be a good fit. Again, I don't work with just anyone. If you aren't serious, I will disqualify you. That's just that. I don't want to waste my time. All right. It's been nice chatting. Hope you like what today's topic was about. Natural IFBB Pro Matt signing out. Boom. All right. Podcast is recorded. I'm just going to look at whatever questions I got here on TikTok, Instagram, and holy fuck, my camera's weird here on YouTube, but whatever. Oh no, it's my seat. Who gives a shit? Tyson or Ty is on. It says you natty, yeah, I'm natty, bro. Natty, bro. Appreciate you for tuning in. Miss Chicken Sticks, can you give me a hug? Your arms look very safe. You need help. MMA fan, absolutely. What the fuck? I love MMA. Yeah, so like, I guess nobody was paying attention really. Nobody really cared about the topic today. At least the people on the replay will. Um, Felix is good day, brother. Yo, what's up, Felix? I appreciate you, man. Everybody else that joined earlier on too that left. I appreciate y'all. Gang, gang. You know what it is, people. Much love. Much fucking love. All right, people. That's it. That's all. I'll be back again for the last live stream of the week tomorrow, probably around the same time. Honestly, I got a good response at this time, so I think I like doing this a little bit earlier. All right. Hope you guys and girls have the sickest fucking Thursday of your life. IFB Bro Matt signing out. Let's go. Peace out, YouTube.